I, 26F, recently lost my fiancé Adam, 28M, in a motorcycle accident. This happened just over a month ago, and I'm still struggling to process everything. We had been together for 5 years after meeting in our final year of college. He was studying engineering while I was completing my teaching degree. We clicked instantly, both of us were driven, shared similar values, and dreamed of building a life focused on helping others. We got engaged 6 months ago in the most beautiful way. He proposed during our morning hike, saying he wanted every sunrise of his life to be with me. We lived in a beautiful apartment in a nice area of the city. I actually found this place 3 years ago when I started my first teaching job. The location was perfect, close to my school and walking distance from the local park where Adam and I spent countless evenings. The rent was surprisingly affordable because I knew the building manager through a family friend. I signed the lease myself and lived alone for the first year. Adam moved in 2 years ago when he got a job at a nearby firm, and we split all expenses equally since then. Some background about Adam's family: his parents divorced when he was 12. His mom Sarah remarried quickly to a wealthy businessman, and they had his half-sister Emma, 24F, shortly after. Emma is currently 7 months pregnant with her first child. Adam's dad never remarried and sadly passed away during Adam's second year of college. He left Adam some inheritance, which Adam used partly for his education and partly invested for our future together. Adam was always closer to his dad. I think it was because his mom Sarah changed completely after remarrying. She became obsessed with social status and maintaining a luxury lifestyle. Adam told me stories about how she would criticize him for choosing engineering over business school, saying he was wasting his potential on a middle-class career. Emma, on the other hand, was groomed to follow in their stepdad's footsteps. She went to an expensive private university and now works at a prestigious finance firm, though from what Adam told me, her stepdad's connections played a big role in getting her that position. Sarah never approved of me. From the moment Adam introduced me at a family dinner 4 years ago, she made it clear I wasn't what she had in mind for her son. She would make subtle digs about my career choice, saying things like it must be so rewarding to be a teacher, even if the pay is barely above minimum wage, or Emma's bonus this quarter was probably more than your annual salary. Adam always defended me and maintained firm boundaries with his mom, which only made her dislike me more. Emma wasn't openly hostile like her mom, but she wasn't friendly either. She would exclude me from sister-in-law shopping trips and family events, only inviting me when Adam explicitly asked about me. When we announced our engagement, Sarah and Emma's congratulations felt forced. They didn't even offer to help with wedding planning, though they threw a massive party when Emma announced her pregnancy 3 months ago. After Adam's accident, everything changed. Sarah started visiting frequently, supposedly to check on me. At first, I thought she was trying to mend fences, united in our grief for Adam. I should have known better. Last week, Sarah showed up with Emma for one of these visits. After some awkward small talk about how I was coping, they dropped their real reason for coming. Sarah started talking about how this apartment must feel too big for just one person, and how Emma was struggling to find a suitable place to start her family. Then came the bombshell: they wanted me to give up the apartment to Emma and her boyfriend. Their justification? Since Adam was gone, I had too much space in what Sarah called her son's apartment, completely ignoring the fact that the lease was in my name. They said Emma needed a nice place before the baby came, and this apartment was perfect since she was familiar with the neighborhood. When I refused, saying I wasn't ready to move and this was my home with Adam, Sarah got angry. She accused me of being selfish, saying I was denying her grandbaby a good home. She even had the audacity to say Adam would have wanted his sister to have the apartment and you need a fresh start anyway. All these memories will only hold you back. I was shocked at their insensitivity. It had barely been a month since I lost the love of my life, and here they were, trying to take away our home. They kept pressuring me, saying Emma was too exhausted to apartment hunt while pregnant. Sarah even suggested I could stay temporarily while looking for a smaller place, as if she was doing me a favor by letting me stay in my own apartment. After they left, they started calling and texting constantly, sending other family members to reason with me. Emma's boyfriend even showed up one evening, talking about their nursery plans for what would be their baby's room, the room that still had Adam's clothes in the closet. I couldn't handle their harassment anymore. I packed some essential items and went to stay with my grandpa George. He's been my rock since losing my parents in a car crash when I was 16. He raised me through my teenage years and helped put me through college. When he asked why I suddenly showed up with my bags, I broke down and told him everything. What happened next was completely unexpected. My grandpa got furious, not just regular angry, but a cold, quiet fury I'd never seen before. It turned out he had been financially supporting Sarah's family business for years through his investment firm. Apparently, Adam's dad was his old friend and business partner. After his death, my grandpa continued investing in Sarah's company out of loyalty to his friend's memory. My grandpa immediately called his business manager and withdrew all investments and support from Sarah's business ventures. When she called frantically asking why, he told her exactly what he thought about her treatment of his grieving granddaughter. Now Sarah and Emma are telling everyone that I deliberately manipulated my grandpa to ruin them financially as revenge for asking about the apartment. Most of Adam's family is siding with them, calling me heartless for affecting a pregnant woman's stability. They're saying I should have just said no to the apartment request instead of vindictively going after their livelihood. But I never asked my grandpa to do anything. I was just sharing what happened because he asked why I was upset. Ida for telling him the truth which led to these consequences? Update 1 First, I want to thank everyone who commented on my original post. Your support and validation meant the world to me during this difficult time. Many people have been messaging asking for updates, so here's what's happened in the past 2 weeks. The situation with Sarah and Emma has exploded in ways I never expected. After my grandpa withdrew his investments, apparently Sarah had a complete meltdown at her office. My grandpa's business partner, Michael, who managed Sarah's company accounts, finally came forward with information he'd been sitting on for years. It turns out Sarah had been running her company like a personal piggy bank. Michael showed my grandpa detailed records of how she had been embezzling money for years. She used company funds for luxury purchases, designer clothes, spa treatments, exotic vacations, while reporting losses to get more investment from my grandpa. She even bought Emma a brand new BMW for her 23rd birthday using company money, recording it as transportation expenses in the books. The real reason behind their desperate attempt to get my apartment came to light too. Sarah's house, the one she always bragged about during family gatherings, is being foreclosed. She hadn't paid the mortgage in months, instead using that money to maintain appearances. Emma's situation isn't much better. Her boyfriend lost his job 3 months ago, right around when they announced the pregnancy, due to company downsizing. They'd been living off Sarah's stolen money since then. They targeted my apartment because they knew they couldn't afford market rent anywhere in this area. The average rent here is almost double what I pay, thanks to my connection with the building manager. They thought they could manipulate me into giving up my favorable lease by using Adam's memory against me. Michael revealed that Sarah had actually been planning this move even before Adam's accident. He overheard her telling Emma that they'd figure out a way to get that apartment eventually. When all this information started spreading through the family grapevine, the reaction was intense. Many relatives who initially sided with them changed their tune completely. Adam's cousins, who had been sending me angry messages about destroying a pregnant woman's security, started reaching out to apologize. Several of them shared stories about times Sarah had borrowed money from them with various excuses, never paying it back. Sarah tried to do damage control by posting a lengthy video on Facebook. She was crying throughout, claiming she was just a struggling single mom who made some mistakes trying to provide for her children. She said she only took small loans from the company during tough times, intending to pay everything back. According to her, I was being cruel by exposing her situation when she was just trying to help her pregnant daughter find a safe home. Her performance might have worked if Emma hadn't accidentally exposed their lies. While Sarah was playing the poverty card, Emma was still posting Instagram stories from expensive restaurants and designer boutiques. She even shared, and quickly deleted, a photo of herself shopping for a $3,000 crib, complaining that it was so hard to find good baby furniture these days. Adam's cousin Jessica screenshot everything before Emma could delete it and shared it in the family group chat. The most heartbreaking revelation came when I finally gathered the courage to go through Adam's home office. In his desk drawer, I found several letters he had written but never sent. Some were addressed to his mom, others to Emma, and a few to me. Reading them was difficult, but they showed that Adam had been aware of some of his mom's questionable behavior. In one letter dated 2 months before his accident, he expressed serious concerns about his mom's business practices. He had noticed some irregularities when helping her with tax documents and had confronted her about it. She dismissed his concerns and accused him of not trusting her. Adam had actually started reducing contact with them in his final months, but he never told me because we were busy with wedding planning and he didn't want to add to my stress. This discovery hit me hard. I've been wondering if I should have noticed something was wrong, if I could have helped him deal with this burden. But as my grandpa reminded me, Adam made his choice to protect me, just as I'm now making my choice to stand up to their manipulation. My grandpa's legal team is conducting a formal investigation into Sarah's financial misconduct. They've already found evidence of tax fraud and misappropriation of investor funds. Sarah tried to negotiate last week. She sent a message through Emma's boyfriend offering to let me keep the apartment if we dropped the investigation. The audacity of offering me my own apartment as a bargaining chip just made my grandpa more determined to uncover everything. I'm still staying at my grandpa's house for now. The apartment feels too empty without Adam, but I'm not giving it up. Not because they want it, but because it's where Adam and I built our life together. Every corner holds memories of our love, from the coffee stains on the kitchen counter from our Sunday morning breakfast to the slightly crooked shelf he installed in our bedroom. I'm not ready to let that go. Some family members are still telling me to show mercy because Emma is pregnant. But as one commenter on my original post said, being pregnant doesn't give you the right to steal someone's home or their money. I didn't ask for any of this to happen, but I'm not going to apologize for telling the truth either. I'll update again if anything significant happens. For now, I'm trying to focus on healing and honoring Adam's memory by standing up to the very people he was trying to protect me from. Update 2: It's been a month since my last update, and the situation has gotten even more complicated. The investigation into Sarah's business dealings revealed things that were worse than anyone expected, things that made me realize I never really knew my fiancé's family at all. The biggest revelation came when my grandpa's forensic accountant started digging into old financial records. Remember the inheritance Adam received from his dad? We discovered that Sarah had somehow maintained her position as a trustee on those accounts even after Adam turned 25, when she was supposed to be removed. She used this access to systematically steal money from her own son for years. The way she did it was calculated and cruel. She would make small withdrawals, just a few $1,000s at a time, then manipulate the statements Adam received to hide these transactions. Over 6 years, she had stolen nearly $200,000 from Adam's inheritance. The money we thought was safely invested for our future had been funding her luxury lifestyle all along. What makes this even more heartbreaking is finding evidence that Adam had started to suspect something was wrong in his final months. The accountants found emails where he had questioned his mom about some discrepancies, but she always had excuses ready, blaming bank errors or claiming she was moving money to better investment accounts. She even gaslit him by saying his dad would be disappointed in him for not trusting his mother to manage his money. But Sarah's theft from Adam was just the tip of the iceberg. My grandpa's investigation revealed she had been running a sophisticated Ponzi scheme through her company. She used his reputation and investment to attract other investors, promising high returns based on fake profit reports. She would pay early investors using money from new ones while pocketing most of the funds. When my grandpa withdrew his support, the whole house of cards started falling apart. Multiple investors have come forward with complaints, realizing their money is gone. Some of these people were friends of Adam's dad who invested because they trusted his widow. Sarah had exploited not just her son's inheritance, but also his father's relationships and reputation. Emma's involvement in all this became clear too, though not in the way we expected. Last week, she showed up at my workplace. She was obviously showing it 8 months pregnant now, and she used her condition to get sympathy from my coworkers who let her wait in my classroom after school. At first, she acted apologetic, crying about how she didn't know the extent of her mom's schemes. Then she dropped the real reason for her visit: blackmail. She claimed to have evidence that Adam was planning to leave me before his death. According to her, he had been unhappy and was looking for ways to break off our engagement. She threatened to release emails and messages that would prove this unless I convinced my grandpa to reinvest in their company and drop the investigation. I called her bluff immediately. I knew Adam better than anyone, and we had been planning our wedding just days before the accident. When I demanded to see this evidence, Emma broke down and admitted everything was a lie. She begged me not to tell anyone about her blackmail attempt because it would stress the baby. The desperation in her voice was pathetic. She really thought she could manipulate me with fake threats about the one person who had always been honest with me. The day after Emma's failed blackmail attempt, Sarah and Emma disappeared. They abandoned their luxury cars at the airport, leaving behind a mess of unpaid bills and angry investors. Adam's Aunt Nancy called me yesterday to say she'd found boxes of Adam's childhood photos and memorabilia in Sarah's house, things she had kept from us, claiming they were lost during their moves. Nancy brought everything to me, including Adam's baby albums and his dad's old journals. Going through these memories has been bittersweet. There are so many photos of Adam with his dad, both of them smiling and happy before Sarah's remarriage changed everything. His dad's journals reveal he had concerns about Sarah's materialism and its influence on their children, but he died before he could protect Adam from her financial abuse. The apartment feels emptier without Adam, but somehow I feel closer to him now. Understanding what he was dealing with in his final months, how he tried to protect me from his family's toxicity while struggling with his own doubts about his mother, it makes me even more certain that standing my ground was the right thing to do. Most of Adam's extended family has now apologized to me, realizing they enabled Sarah's behavior for years by always believing her lies. His cousin Mark, who works in banking, is helping the investigation by providing records of suspicious transactions he had noticed but never reported because Sarah always had convincing explanations. The apartment that Sarah and Emma tried to take from me has become a symbol of truth prevailing over manipulation. My grandpa says Adam would be proud of me for not giving in to their emotional blackmail, And for the first time since this all started, I truly believe that. Update 3. It's been 3 months since everything first happened, and life is slowly finding a new rhythm, though not necessarily a comfortable one yet. I still miss Adam every day, but I'm learning to carry his memory in a way that gives me strength rather than just pain. Sarah and Emma were finally located living in a small town 2 states over. They had been staying with a distant relative who didn't know about the situation. Emma had her baby last week, a little girl. Several family members, including Adam's Aunt Nancy, have been trying to guilt-trip me into dropping the charges. They keep saying things like the baby shouldn't suffer for its mother's mistakes and family should forgive family. What they don't understand is that Sarah and Emma stopped being family the moment they tried to exploit Adam's death for their gain. The investigation has revealed even more shocking details. Sarah had apparently been planning to sell my apartment lease to another family for a hefty transfer fee, even though she had no legal right to do so. My landlord showed me emails where she had posed as me, trying to get information about lease transfer policies. She had even created a fake email address similar to mine. Thankfully, my landlord knew better and contacted me directly about these suspicious inquiries. I'm still teaching at the same school, but I've also started something meaningful in Adam's memory. Going through his things, I found a draft of an essay he had written about losing his dad young and how education had helped him cope. Inspired by this, I started a small scholarship fund in Adam's name for students who lost parents. The first scholarship will be awarded next semester. My students have been incredibly supportive, with some even organizing a fundraiser to contribute to the fund. Last week, while organizing Adam's home office, I found a hidden compartment in his desk drawer. Inside was a sealed envelope with my name on it, dated just 2 days before his accident. It contained his plans for our proposal, not the one he had already done, but a second one he was planning for our wedding day. He wanted to propose again at the altar, with new rings he had designed himself, symbolizing our journey from engagement to marriage. Along with the ring designs was the most beautiful letter about our future together. He wrote about the family we'd build, the adventures we'd have, and how every day with me made him a better person. The letter hit me hard, but it also gave me strength. Adam wrote about how much he admired my integrity and strength of character, the very qualities that helped me stand up to his family's manipulation. He knew who I was, and he loved me for exactly that person. My grandpa helped me install security cameras after some of Sarah's relatives started showing up unannounced to harass me. Last month, Emma's boyfriend tried to break in when he thought I wasn't home. The cameras caught everything, and now he's facing additional charges. I've been thinking about moving eventually, not because they pressured me, but because I might be ready for a fresh start soon. There's a teaching position opening up at a school in the city where Adam and I had planned to move after our wedding. But for now, this apartment holds too many precious memories of my time with him. Every morning, I have coffee on the balcony where we used to watch sunrises together. Every evening, I walk in the park where he first told me he loved me. Yesterday, I finally handed over all the evidence of Sarah's schemes to the federal investigators. Some people think I'm being too harsh by cooperating with the investigation, but as Adam wrote in his final letter to me, sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let people face the consequences of their actions. His words guide me still. Sarah recently tried to reach out through her lawyers, offering a settlement if I'd testify in her favor. I declined. No amount of money could make me dishonor Adam's memory by helping cover up his mother's crimes. My grandpa says I'm stronger than he ever imagined, but I think I'm just trying to be the person Adam always knew I could be.